Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back, fellow modelers. We got an update on the Runaway train. You guys can see I received my other Alaska Railway GP40-2, correct era, vents and all, small tank. Literally, it's just a carbon copy of that one, exact same item number on the box and everything. So we got that dummied out, free rolling for the time being. Um, and I'm gonna kind of show you guys some of the stuff that I dug out last night for working on some of the stuff. Is not quite to this point yet, but I'm just kind of getting myself prepared for some stuff. To start with, I just have a bunch of scrap styrene. Some of it's corrugated stuff. Some of it's just little cut out squares of different things, and just some junk styrene that I can literally use for whatever. And kind of what I kind of got a little bit of a head start on is doing the base plate, the very base plate that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the damage on the front here. On this original one, I did not do it per the prototype. It's actually shorter. I think once I get the next one figured out, it'll probably honestly be another ½ inch or so forward. It sticks out quite a ways, at least on the very bottom. And the way they did it, they almost kind of took a plate and cut some gigantic teeth into it, almost like an exaggeration of a like a front loader bucket or an excavator bucket, kind of like the bottom of that, with 4 gigantic teeth or jets that kind of stick out of it and are kind of bent in certain orientations. So I'm trying to figure out how to go about that while I'm waiting for a couple of these other shells to show up. And one thing I found out using, I have this kind of cardstock material. It's very thin. It's kind of like a cardstock, cardboard type stuff. It's really nice, bendable, still sturdy. You can cut it with a knife and it cuts nice. And I've kind of gone and tried to mimic this shape, see how I'm going to try to do this. This is an oversized version, of course. It's too wide for the locomotive. The damage on the real one sticks out slightly, but they did keep it within a safe range. And as you guys can see, I'm way past the pilot on both sides. But this is basically just to see how I'm going to go about doing this, because like I said, it's kind of got these 4 teeth that stick out. I think they did it that way to kind of make it look a little bit more menacing and actually look like it has a mouth of death, or whatever you want to call it. And some of these are kind of bent up in a certain orientation, and they're kind of cut out like a certain way. So I'm just messing around with this cardstock, trying to figure out, trying to get the correct shape, because then once I get the correct shape and it looks nice on the locomotive, then I can go back with styrene and cut this out and bend it. But this stuff's really nice to help me kind of get a game plan on what the shapes I need, what the size I need. Like I said, this is just kind of oversized right now, a little too wide. So the next version will be a little bit tighter, and I kind of have to figure out my length, because this plate will bend up and kind of hook underneath the anti-climber. Now these don't have anti-climbers on them because they're a GP40-2, but Alaska Railroad did put anti-climbers on the fronts of these locomotives, and I have some in my detail parts here. It's basically like a generic anti-climber. Has the 2 plates that hook to the supports here on the bottom to give that look. So these will be retrofitted onto both the damaged post and pre-damage units. Even though you're not going to see it on the post-damage unit, I need it on there so that way I can kind of work my damage around that how they did, and that'll kind of set a better tone for that. There will not be a front coupler on the lead unit. They left the front coupler on the one in real life, and I want to be able to remove the shell, and I don't know if I can build something around the coupler to make it to where I can have bottom support, and then get the shell off. So I mean, just some stuff to figure out. So I mean, I'm a little ahead of this part, but it's something that's going to be kind of complicated, and I kind of really have to figure out my shapes and everything before I start gluing stuff to the locomotive. And so I'm just kind of messing around with that, kind of getting a game plan. But this cardstock's really nice for kind of doing like a pre-rehearsal on that, helping me out, getting my shapes down and everything. And I have some kind of longer styrene stock, some tube, some flat, some square stock, a bunch of different brass and soft metal tube and rotting for various things. Some kind of more flat strips and square strips of styrene, some really thin gauge stuff, and then it's kind of some new stuff in packaging of Plastruct, just various like some flat stock, pretty thin stuff that I can kind of use, some really small square stock stuff that I can use for whatever. So I just kind of got some of that stuff together, so that way I know what I have. And then I have a box up here full of various gauge wires and little rubber tubes for using for the damage on the front, the damage inside the cab. We have everything from really thin little wire to some thicker stuff in there. So some of it is wire, some of it is tubing, so I can kind of pick and choose just depending on the gauge that I need. Try to match the prototype as close as possible, so I got a bunch of that stuff to kind of play around with. Help me out on that. But yeah, so I just kind of got some stuff together, try to figure out what exactly I'm gonna need. I still need to go once I actually start building this again. I'll go and get some tin foil that I can crumple up and use for those kind of just more crumpled up pieces of metal. But the hardest part's just going to kind of get in that base situated. Once I get that base plate figured out and get the dimensions on it right, make sure it looks good, figure out how to attach it to support it and all that stuff. Once that's done, that's the hard part. The rest of the stuff is actually pretty easy, as long as I just study the photos as I'm doing it, match my angles as close as possible. It's not going to be 100%, but if it's closer than what this is, I'll be happy. So that's about it. Waiting for some more detail parts to come in. I got a lot of stuff from eBay coming in. I did order some Tamiya white putty for filling in holes in some of the shells, and if I'm chopping stuff and filling in stuff. I've never used Tamiya putty before, but I watch a lot of YouTubers that use it in their modeling, and it seems like it's really nice stuff. So I'm finally getting around to getting some, so I can use it on this project to have a little bit more success, a lot better of a end product. So just some things I'm trying to still get lined up here. Hopefully within the next 2 weeks I'll have the shells for those other two GP7s. I got Like I said in the last video, I have some of the correct winterization hatches coming, and I have to kind of go through and locate. I do have railing sets for the F7s coming. I purchased 2 full railing sets to kind of save me some time on those. The front range units came with grab irons to install, and then I basically just have to supply all the grab irons for the 2 GP40-2s, which I believe I do have a bunch of small scale pre-bent wire ones from Athearn and Walther's stuff that I can use on these. So I think I'm gonna start getting into drilling all the holes. It's gonna take me a while. I have to find out. I'm actually gonna look through some old Athearn Genesis booklets, because they say the drill size, the drill bit size that you need, because I can't remember it offhand. So I'm just gonna kind of base it off that, because that's basically what I'm using is Athearn Genesis, the little grab irons that they used to give you in the first Athearn Genesis sets. So gonna be a lot of hole drilling, drill out all the grab iron spots on all of these, and then probably start applying the grab irons. I mean, that's going to be a pretty time-consuming, tedious job that just needs to get done. Something I might do is add a little bit more detail to these fuel tanks. It is going to be pretty snow covered, so I'm not going to go too crazy with super detailing, but you know, just some extra detail on these single piece cast tanks on the frames there. So I got to start cutting up the dynamic sections that were given with these front range sets. Start cutting the dynamic fans out of those, cutting the exhausts off, so I can figure out how to do these basically going double high on these exhaust stacks. If I could get these to focus. There we go. So I basically need those double the height that they are right now. So I'm hoping I can have success with just simply chopping those ones off as low as possible, and then carefully positioning them and carefully gluing them on top of the molded ones there, and that should be just about right. As long as they're taller than, you know, taller than the original stack size there, I'll be pretty happy. It should be pretty close to double the height, even with cutting these off. Like I said, I'm going to try to cut pretty low, and so that way I can kind of back cut and get a perfect half of the stack to go on top. And then, like I said, I'm going to have to go in with a hand saw. I have tiny hand saws, and Dremel bit's going to be too thick. I don't have anything thin enough, and I'm going to have to cut pretty much right on the edge of this box on both sides, so I can basically get that whole platform that this fan is attached to off of there. And then once I get that cut, then I can lay it on top. I'm going to basically lay that on top and take a knife, and I'm going to trace around it with my knife on the plastic, and then that'll give me my line of where I need to cut out the shell. I'm going to try to, you know, be very careful when I cut, not take too much. If I do, that's why I ordered the putty, so that way I can fill some of these holes that I know I'm going to wind up with. So a lot of little stuff that's going to start happening here pretty soon. Basically just kind of wanted to go through and get some stuff ready for doing the actual detailing, and like some of this stuff I'll use for building up the double height of the winterization hatches. So like some of this stuff I can put on the side and cut and glue on the winterization hatch and all that. So a lot of little stuff that I kind of had to find and pick through my items that I have, and I know I grabbed more than what I need, but I kind of wanted options. I want to pretty much have everything I need on hand, so that way I have, if something doesn't seem to be working out, I have something right on hand that might work better than something else. So that's it, guys. That's it for this little update. Just wanted to show off the new GP40-2 that we got in today. So now that's cool. That's ready to rock and roll. We almost have the full second set ready to go. Just waiting on those shells. This one's ready to start drilling and chopping and cutting. So hope you guys enjoy these videos. It's going to be a lot of videos. I know this is part 4. I haven't made the title for this yet, so I'll have to look. I believe this is part 4. This is probably going to wind up being many parts, and so bear with me. You guys will see the progress. It's going to happen. It's just going to take some time. So hope you guys are enjoying the Runaway Train series so far. I know it's been kind of a slow start, but we're really going to start getting into it now that we've kind of got some more items ready to go here. So let me know what you think, and until next time, take care.